it's Ashley, and today I'm going to be sitting down with you and telling you all about Sawyer's birth story. But before we get into it, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell to become part of the family. And if you like our content, definitely share with your friends and family. It helps our channel and our family grow. With that said, let's just get into it, and let me get started. On March 16th, 2019. We had my parents come in and get us ready for us going to the hospital. My mom actually watched the kids, and it was just extra hands for us for the big day. The next day was actually St. Patrick's Day, the day before Sawyer's birthday. And we ate breakfast, we went to church. I remember telling a bunch of people, because everybody was like, oh my gosh, when do you do? And I'm like, technically I'm due in a week, but we're having him tomorrow. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, we're so excited for you, praying for you that everything goes smoothly and everything. So it was really cool to be able to see my friends the day before we had him, and just feel that sense of community and peace went over us during that time. Then we came home, we had some lunch, a light lunch, and then we just hung out and watched a little bit of TV, and then we went to Texas Roadhouse as like a celebratory, like last day as a family of 3, parents in town, everyone just being there, and I was really wanting Texas Roadhouse. I got a salad and a little bit of steak, and we just enjoyed it. We just had a good day of just hanging out with family and feeling the love and support going into the next day, which before we get in, I can't breathe. Jay, can you wipe her face?
Sir. Mr. Paul? Yeah. She left about 15 minutes ago. Thanks. What do you want to tell us? The sex of the baby?
Mom.
Yes.
The next morning, March 18th, I was officially 39 weeks pregnant, and I took my last bump date. Like I do with my weekly updates with Adeline, I did that with Sawyer, and I did my 39-week update, and it sunk into me. And for the last week before Sawyer was born, I just felt guilty that I was caring for another baby, and that Annie was not getting all the attention that she deserved because I was tired and I was resting a lot more, and I just had that sense of guilt on me. So after I showered, I couldn't eat anything because I was having major surgery. So while everybody else was eating, to get my mind off of it, I spent most of my time cuddling with Annie on my chair, telling her that I loved her and that, you know, soon we're going to bring baby brother home. And she was just so giggly and made me feel a little bit better, but then also a little bit more guilty, just because I knew that in just a couple of hours I would be leaving her for the first time to stay overnight and bring somebody else home that we'd have to get used to. And for all you multiple parents, you'd understand that the moment that you have your second, or you're about to have your second, it's just one of those feelings that, like, are you sure that I'm gonna love this second kid, or is you're first going to be, you know, welcoming of the second. And I just had those thoughts going through my head, so I was getting a little nervous. I wasn't nervous for the surgery itself, I was just nervous for how Annie was going to deal with it, if she was going to love him. And now knowing, I overreacted. After the snuggles around 9:30ish, we slowly made our way to the car. We put our hospital bags in the car, and everyone came outside that was here. It was my mom, my dad, my grandma, my sister, and Annie. We all, you know, hugged, said our goodbyes, well wishes, and I snuggled Annie that last final time, and I just remember feeling like, oh my gosh, I am going to break down. And I made sure that I didn't break down until we were pulling out of the driveway, and I just lost it. For the 10-minute car ride to the hospital, I lost it because I had never been away from Annie for more than 2 hours at a time, and the only time period that I've ever been away from her was the 2 days that I was in the hospital with Sawyer. So it's just one of those things that to me it's like, okay, I remember that I was fine, you know, she was fine, she was well taken care of. So we get to the hospital around, you know, close to 10. I was supposed to check in around 10ish, and I get into the check-in section of the hospital. They check me in, they put the wristband on me, they sent me up to the maternity floor, and then they weighed me, they got me into my room, which for our experience, or at the hospital that we had Sawyer at, they put you into a delivery room, even if you're having a C-section. They set you up, they get you all monitored, they put a heart monitor on the baby just as a precaution. They have you rinse your mouth out with like tooth solution to keep up your hygiene. They make you put lotion on if you need to be. They shave you and stuff like that. And then I loved the nurse that we had. We actually met her. She was the tour nurse for when we toured the hospital, because mind you guys, we had never been to this hospital before, so we wanted to do the tour and make sure that everything, you know, was right on our part, because we knew that we were having a scheduled C-section. So I loved the fact that she was the nurse that was on call, and she was the nurse that, you know, handled everything. And she was actually the nurse that was inside of the delivery room with us. So it was really cool. And I believe her name was Nicole. But she was amazing. I love her, and I hope that she's still working there. I know it's been almost 2 years now, but it'll be like 2.5 years by the time that number 3 is born. I hope that she's there and we can have the same experience. So after that, our nurse went, and after they did the IV, they checked everything. They made me put lotion on my stomach and everything like that, and then they went to go check on their other patients, and me and Jason just lingered in the delivery room for about an hour, because we got there at 10 and our C-section was scheduled for 12, so we had to just kill time. And so we were talking, we were watching a little bit of Netflix, and just trying to stay calm before, you know, all the craziness of the C-section started. So in that time period, I think around like 11:15ish, around there, the anesthesiologist came in, which she was just the sweetest lady. She was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna give you a spinal. And I, you know, asked her, you know, because I've heard horror stories with the spinal, and I had a horrible experience with the epidural, so I just wanted to like be sure. And she reassured me that the spinal is like 10 times better than the epidural. The epidural, you can't feel your legs for a longer period of time. The spinal, you feel your legs within the first couple of hours afterward, and you'll be able to move your legs and stuff like after that. So after she came in, I felt a little bit more eased by that, because I know that my doctor and I discussed what they were going to be using. And then about, I want to say 10 minutes before they took me back to prep me and everything, the doctor came in and said, you know, oh my gosh, it's the day of, you know, the C-section. We've been waiting for this. And our doctor is so personal that she was just the piece that we needed right before. She explained what was going to happen. The nurse that was with her, or the nurse came back, gave Jason all of his scrubs, which we actually still have. And then they told him, okay, get dressed. We're going to take her back. We're going to prep her, and then we're going to come and get you. Okay? So then, while he was getting dressed, they wheeled me into the operating room, which it was, you know, a standard operating room. There was a couple of other nurses. The nurse that was going to take care of Sawyer, which she was such a sweetheart as well. The nurse that was next to my shoulder, you know, calming me down to, like, you know, soothe the spinal into me. She was there. A bunch of other people, like a bunch of other women were in there. I think there was one guy who was shadowing the doctor. But the room was literally just a plain room with a bunch of blue paper, which is like sterilized stuff that you don't touch. And then, you know, a bunch of nurses in headgear and, you know, the scrubs and everything. And I was just talking to the nurse that was helping in the beginning, Nicole, and we were just talking, having a great conversation. The anesthesiologist comes in, Nicole helps her administer the spinal, they get me situated on the operating table, put my arms out, put all the IVs, the monitors for my heart and everything on me, and then they asked me, oh, what station do you want it on? We want to make it as calm as possible. And with Annie, I had the country music station on, so I was like, country music, okay? So the country music station was playing, and I wasn't thinking much of it. 3 minutes before they started, the doctor came in and was like, is the husband in here? Like, is the dad in here? And they go, oh no, we need to go get him. They kind of forgot to get him. And then they got him. He came in, he sat right next to me on my left side, and the anesthesiologist was on my right with the other nurse that will help with the baby. And they were like, okay, we're gonna start now. It was around, I wanna say, like 12:29 by the time they started, because they had to like prep me and everything like that, and it took a while. So then they got started, and it happened fast, but in my head, it kind of happened slow too. I don't know if that makes any sense, but like the anesthesiologist, the nurse was like, you're doing so great, you're doing awesome. And afterwards, they told us that from cut to Sawyer coming out, it was 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and then he was out. So right when he was about to come out, I heard our OB chuckle, and she was like, woo, he's a big boy. And then he came out, and we opted to have a gentle C-section, which they did not have this with Annie at all. But we wanted to make sure that he was put on my chest like right away. And gentle C-sections are beautiful in their own right. What they do is they put the baby through the tarp. So I opted to have the one where I didn't see my insides. So they still had the tarp, but it had like a slap, like an opening to where they could put the baby in, and that's why the baby nurse was right next to me. And so they put him on me, and it was so surreal. And I think the first thing that I said was like, oh my gosh, he has no eyebrows. And then the rest is history. They clamped his cord a little bit, and after about, I think, 2 minutes, they took him to weigh him, clean him up a little bit, and that boy weighed 8 pounds, 9 ounces, 20.5 inches long, I believe, and he was a big boy. And then the doctor was like, Ashley, you have like 16 ounces of fluid in you, so you were all baby. And I looked like I had a basketball in my shirt, like the morning of. And so we, enjoyed the moment. We took pictures. The nurses took pictures for us. We took our pictures with him, me and Jason. Jason then, after about, I want to say 7 minutes of him being in there, they were almost done stitching me up and everything. They were like, okay, Ashley, Jason's gonna go take Sawyer back to your room, so the same room that we were in before, so the delivery room, and we're gonna finish up here, and then you're gonna reunite with them. So I'm like, okay. So another 3 minutes passed by. They were done. They wheeled me back into the room. They had him placed on me after, Jason had his time with him. They placed him back on me to do kangaroo care and to get him to nurse. And then they waited 2 hours. So, and if I remember correctly, they waited 2 hours because they wanted to make sure that Sawyer was good, and then that I could either, like the tingling sensation of the medication wore off, and that I could feel my legs, and that, everything was good. They slowly gave me ice chips, which I was thankful for because I was super hungry. And I needed something in my system. I needed some water. I was really thirsty and felt dehydrated. And so after the first 2 hours, we were okay to get put to the post-delivery room. So we said goodbye to Nicole, and we were taken to our post-delivery room. We got settled, and then after 20 minutes, we had Jason go into the waiting room where my parents and Jason's mom and everyone were waiting. I think it was about like 2 o'clock by the time, and we got Annie, and Annie met Sawyer. She gave him his present. We gave him her present from him, and I worried for nothing because that little girl, as soon as she saw him, she just started giggling. And so after we, had Annie come in, Jason recorded a little bit of their first encounter. We had our parents come in. We took pictures with them, and long story short, after 2 full days of being at the hospital, we actually got to take Sawyer home, and it was the best. Like, we took him home, we brought him here. My sister actually got to meet him because my sister wasn't allowed to go to the hospital because she wasn't a sibling, and we just enjoyed the rest of the time that our family was here. Jason's dad left about 2 days later. My parents left around 4 to 5 days later. It started our next chapter of us being a family of 4, and it's been a whirlwind because of the pandemic and everything, but we can't believe that he is going to be 2 years old on Friday. When you're seeing this is Monday's video, but his birthday is going to be on Friday. And I can't believe that he's going to be 2 already. It seems like just yesterday that this happened and that he came into our lives. So before I end the vlog, here is all of the memories and videos, pictures that we took on his actual birthday. He has no eyebrows.
And he has dark hair. And look, his fingers are pretty long.
Yeah, but they're chunky.
There he is, Mama. Look at
Hi, Sawyer.
You think?
You love it? Annie opening up the gift from Sawyer, her baby brother. Annie. It's a baby. For the sweet Mooney. Walking with the Sawyer.
Not even 24 hours. I'm already walking. Family, I hope that you enjoyed walking down memory lane with me. You know, as a mom, I love telling the story and reliving it. As I prepared to do this video, I couldn't help but tear up watching the videos of, you know, the C-section and Sawyer's first hours and Annie's first encounter with him. It was just one of those moments that I will treasure for the rest of my life. And making this video actually will help me remember down the road, you know, when I'm old and gray, I can look back at it and be like, yeah, I remember that. So with that said, remember family, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, become part of the family. Until then, have a family-filled day, and we'll talk to you in our next video. See you later.